And we are live. What's going on, y'all? What's happening? Um, there's a few things to talk about today. A few things that we can chop up. A lot of things going on, man. I know WNBA talk has been big. A lot of talk going around about the WNBA salaries and things of that nature. Um, Gear. We can talk. We talking some gear. Um, a lot of things going on, man. You got the Drizzy, Drizzy Rick Ross beef going on right now. There's a bunch of shit to talk about, man. So y'all, let me know in the comments if y'all can hear me, man. We got AAU season popping off too. AAU season's popping off too. That's a big deal. I'm looking. I know this Saturday, the homie Blake Walker, him and D'Angelo Adams, man, two guys that I really love and respect, man. A couple of those guys, they've got some teams that's gonna be performing this weekend, and I'm definitely gonna check them out. If I can't get there Friday and Saturday at the very least, I'll be there. I'll be there on Saturday. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We the first thing, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark gets drafted number 1 to the Indiana Fever, and it wasn't a mystery. It was something that we all knew was going to happen. Me personally, I remember going on record saying that if I had the number 1 pick, if I was the Indiana Fever and I had the number 1 pick, I would have picked Camila Cardoso. That's what I said. That's what I said. And I know that was met with a ton of criticism. everybody knew that Caitlin Clark was gonna go first, and of course that was met, like I said, with a ton of criticism. And I understand. I get it. It's just, as an avid watcher of WNBA, as an avid watcher of the women's game, not just at the pro level, but at the college, high school, middle school level, as an avid watcher of the women's game, I understand how important height is. I understand how important size is in the women's game. I understand how important defense, rebounding, and all of those things are in the women's game. So if I was a GM, that's why I said if I was a GM, my first pick would have been Camila Cardoso, without question. And so yeah, my very first pick would have definitely been Camila Cardoso. But it didn't go that way, and I knew it wasn't going to go that way. Don't get me wrong. I knew it wasn't going to go that way. I knew Caitlin Clark. We all knew Caitlin Clark was the number 1 pick. And Indiana doing that, what they essentially did was, in terms of the value of the WNBA and everything that it means to the game right now, what they did was they pushed all their chips in the table, in the middle of the table. And the biggest chip they had is Caitlin Clark. She is gonna have to be a star. She's gonna have to produce. I wouldn't even be surprised if I was the commissioner of the WNBA, I would get all the officials on the phone and I'm saying, look, Caitlin Clark, she got to get her shots. She got to average 30. I'm talking to all the owners of the teams. I'm saying, look, if y'all want this thing to be here to stay, you got to make it so that Caitlin Clark can do her thing, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a huge star in the women's game, a huge relatable star that the mass majority of people that watch the game can look at and identify with. And let's just keep it real. Pretty little country little white girl from Iowa. Hey, very relatable. She's you may feel differently. You may feel differently, but she's very relatable. There's way more of her than there are of anybody else. And that's why I feel like she needs, if the league is going to be successful for the long term, the league needs a star. Right now, in the age of social media and all the things that's going on, the way that we transfer information back and forth, bro, you need Caitlin Clark to be just what she was in college, in the pros. You absolutely need her to dominate. And does she have the goods? That's the question. Does she have the goods? Does Caitlin Clark have the goods to dominate? So far, from what we've seen in her college career, it seems like it. It seems so. She can shoot the deep three. She does have a keen eye for passing the basketball. She's really good off the dribble in some cases. She does shoot exceptionally well off of screens. She shoots exceptionally well off of screens. And I'm not going to say she's like a good defender, but she's capable. She's capable of playing, of being a part of, sound team defense. So let me check the comments, see if we got any comments here. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's check it out. Make sure we're live here. Off of screens. Oh no, we sound good. We sound damn good. Yes, sir. If anyone, bro, and like I always tell y'all, man, I'm building this thing while I'm flying it. So anything that you need to ask about the production and how I'm doing what I'm doing, feel free to ask any questions, and I'll definitely answer all of those. The mic I'm on right now is a Rode Pod Mic 2. It's a really good mic. It's the one I use most when I'm at the house. This is my home mic. But at the studio, I use a different one. But yeah, Caitlin Clark, man, she's gonna have to show that she is the goods, and a lot of people think she is, because the thing is, what we're expecting. What are we expecting from Caitlin Clark? We're expecting her to be the goods. There's a lot of people that's really expecting her to come into the game and pretty much dominate the way she's done throughout college, if you want to call what she's been doing dominating. Me, I'm more along the side. I like championships. I like championships. That's why, I had Kamilla Cardoso highly ranked on my board. I also had Angel Reese ranked highly on my board. Those are the players that I like the most. Now, the one thing that I didn't like about the draft, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong or if you feel differently, the one thing I didn't like about the WNBA draft was the 3 foreign selections. I don't like that. I don't think that's good enough. I don't think that's good for the growth of the women's game, because the first thing you got to do, if y'all know, if you're a street Negro and you understand what I'm saying, you take over the crib. Mama, I'm hustling. Then you take over your street. All right, y'all rock with me. Then you take over your hood. Then you take over your city. Then you take over. You see what I'm saying? And I think that, look at my baby in the background. And I think that they didn't do a great enough job taking over by making sure that the first round of picks were all young women that could find a place on a WNBA roster. U.S. women. Because it's weird, because one of the young ladies, she was drafted, she's from Australia. She never played college ball. Nobody knows who she is. And it's funny because the spot that she's taking up, somebody probably going, a girl from the U.S. probably going to have to go to Australia in order to play professional basketball, right? So I do believe that was a misstep, drafting players, international players. I don't think the league is mature enough yet to get the most out of an international player, unless they're going to be some crazy superstar, better than Caitlin Clark, better than Maya Moore, unless they're going to be that. And honestly, the chances of somebody being that's not in the United States is slim to none, as far as the ladies go. So another thing that we all talked about a lot, everybody was excited about Angel Reese being drafted to the Chicago Sky. And this was Chicago Sky's second pick. And their first pick, which is the third pick, they took Kamilla Cardoso. That is going to be scary. Because Angel is really a 4. She's not a 5. Angel's not a 5. She's really a 4. And she's been playing out of position the last couple of years at LSU. And I think that having, a huge post presence on the block like Kamilla Cardoso is going to really allow Angel to shine. I think this benefits Angel. This is the perfect situation for her. She couldn't go anywhere else and have, the success that I believe she's about to have. Now, will she be, a perennial all-star and all of that? I'm not so certain about that, but I will tell you, I do believe that she will be a very solid pro. She will be a double-double machine. She's going to get to 10 points, 10 rebounds frequently, very often. Because while Camila Cardoso is a huge presence, she's not as quick a foot as Angel Reese is. So a lot of those rebounds that maybe Camila Cardoso could have just collected, Angel's going to get those too. So I'm looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. I like the Connecticut Suns pick when they got Alyssa Pilley. That was a really good pick for them. There's some scouts that were saying she's the second-ranked offensive player in the draft behind Caitlin Clark. We saw what she did in the tournament. She dropped the 40 ball. She got right. And she's a big body, 6'2", 6'3", can shoot the ball decently around the basket. I look forward to seeing what Alyssa Pilley is going to do with the Connecticut Sun as well. It's funny because a couple of reports came out, where you had Diana Taurasi saying certain things to the rookies coming in, and you had it's just a few players. You had Cheryl Swoops, one of the gods, one of the basketball gods. You had her saying, giving her viewpoint on what Angel Reese, how her game would translate, and how Caitlin Clark's game would translate in the pro arena. You had a couple of sound bites from them, and people are really mad about that. And it's funny because the women are like, why would you say that to those young women trying to play ball? Shut up. It's a competition, man. It's competition. They talking shit because that's what you do. When it's time to compete, you're going to talk a little shit. You're going to say, look, yeah, you can do that against the 18-year-olds, but when you come up in here against the big dogs, it's not going to be so easy. You feel me? And that's cool. And me, I think that's going to get them hyped. That's going to get them excited. That's going to turn up. I'm looking forward to it, bro. This WNBA season has to be a good one, bro. Indiana Fever do not have to win a championship, but they have to compete. They have to be stupid competitive night in and night out with Caitlin Clark averaging 20 a game at least. That's what it's got to be in order for this upcoming season to be successful. Now, speaking of this upcoming season, we got on May 11th, we got South Carolina own, Columbia Metro area's own, Asia Wilson. She's bringing her Las Vegas Aces to Colonial Life Arena, and they're playing against the Puerto Rico team. So, and that's a preseason game. And that game, bro, I went and I checked out some tickets, bro. They have floor seats for $224. I mean, I'm talking about floor behind the basket, like right there, like second row. I saw those, and I'm not gonna say the tickets are cheap because good basketball ain't cheap. This shit ain't cheap. It's very cost effective. You can get in the building for $20. You can get up in the building for a dub, and that ain't cheap because good shit don't come cheap. Women's basketball is good shit. So I'm leaning towards taking the fam, for sure. I'm leaning towards taking the fam to that game. That's May 11th. That's going to be a WNBA preseason game where you got our defending champions playing against Puerto Rico. So that should be a good one. Another thing that's been crossing my mind that I want to talk about, man, and I gotta be careful because I don't want to misstep and say anything crazy, but I really want to see how Dawn Staley is gonna coach that team next year, because you got a player in Malaysia Fulwale. We love Malaysia Fulwale, bro. We got a player in Malaysia Fulwale that really could be what Juju is, what Juju means to USC, and what Caitlin Clark meant to Iowa. Malaysia, I believe Malaysia is more talented than those players. She doesn't have the big body that Juju has, but she's more talented than those players. And for her to stay home and, take the risk of not being, at center stage, like 20 shots a game, go out there and get your 30, try to break the scoring record. For her to not do that with a player, because I've been watching her since she was in 8th grade, and bro, she loves to score the basketball. She really does. So I am kind of interested to see. This is going to have to be Dawn's best coaching job. This is going to have to be her best coaching job because she's never had a player that talent. I'm not saying she commands the ball. I'm not saying her as a player commands the ball, but I'm talking about Malaysia Fulwale. Her talent commands the ball. It's almost like, bro, just give her the ball. You feel me? And there were times last year when you could see where she was like visibly like, yo, give me the ball. Like I only get to play 20 minutes. 28 minutes at the max. So while I'm here, bro, just give me the ball. I'll score. Because she can do it. She can fill it up, man. She really can. And like I said, it's going to be – what's up, James? What's happening, fam? It's going to be very interesting to see how Dawn manages that huge game. And her personality is showing up, too. I mean, she's getting brand deals, endorsement deals. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, the next season is gonna be a really, really dope season. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how Dawn Staley is gonna manage that team, because coming back, I mean, you pretty much got everybody coming back with the exception of Cardoso. Of course, her being the third pick in the draft. You got Bree coming back. You got, I think, Chloe Kitts is coming back. You got Fegan's coming back. You got Adele Tack is coming back, and she's going to want some minutes. I think Sakima Walker is a senior. I think she graduates. I'm not sure if she has another year or whatever with that. But then you got Tessa Johnson coming back. You got, bro, squad. Am I forgetting anybody? Pow coming back. Am I forgetting anybody? You can talk. Who? Oh, quit playing. You Waving. You got Waving coming back. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
not Raven, it's Raven.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, so now the one who said Raven.
That's right. You got Raven coming back. So the team is going to be chock full again, and I already know, like, Malaysia is going to want a bigger role. Her game commands a bigger role. How does Dawn manage that? That's going to be something to see coming into the next season. Now, another thing, a lot of blurbs about this going on throughout the day, or since the day of the draft, or after the draft when the salaries came out, and everybody was talking about, you know, the salaries and how much players are making and this and that and the third. And, you know, you had Caitlin Clark topping out around $350K, making about $70K per year. And there was a lot of people that was upset about that. A lot of people are saying, you know, they're bringing up the wage gap situation that goes on. And it was one in particular where they spoke on Victor Wembanyama and how his first year in the league, he makes 15 or 18 mil, and Caitlin Clark makes, you know, 70 mil, and why that was such a big discrepancy, right? People got to support and buy merch. Yes, sir. That's a fact. And I don't know if this, I'm sure this has been explained time and time again. The women are not saying they want to make the same dollar amount as the men. That's not what the women are saying. They're not saying, hey, Victor Wembanyama makes $15 million, Caitlin Clark should make $15 million. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is the league, the NBA, of all the money that this league brings in, they allocate 50% of the money to player salaries, and they have a salary cap. So half of what the league draws in, they're willing to split that in half, and through the most recent collective bargaining agreement, the players get 50% of all the revenue that the league draws in. Now, the WNBA gets 50% of incremental revenue. So it's not the same split. It's not the same percentage. And what the WNBA players are saying is they want a straight up 50%. They want the same thing that the guys are getting, the same percentage the guys are getting. That's what the girls want to get. And I understand both sides. I understand that as a WNBA Players Association, you have to take that side, because if you ask for more than you want, you might get exactly what you want. You see what I'm saying? And when the next CBA comes out, I think it's 2024 after next season. Not this season, but the next season, 25. When the next CBA comes out, they're gonna have some leverage to renegotiate, especially if this upcoming season goes well. So for those of you that really want to see the women's game grow, and you want to see these young ladies make the money that you feel they deserve, like, fuck Twitter, fuck tweeting about it, fuck making a TikTok. Get your ass online, go to WNBA.com and order a couple of jerseys from your favorite player. Order some tickets to the game. Come to Columbia for the first preseason game and watch, you know, the WNBA champion play ball against Puerto Rico. That's how you do it. The first thing you should do, without doing nothing, something that's absolutely free, 100% free, download the WNBA app. I believe I got it on my phone. As a matter of fact, I'm quite sure I got it right there on my phone. The WNBA app. Download that. Download that. That's the first thing you should do. Bro, at the day after the draft, as soon as y'all found out them girls aren't making the money you think they should make, the first thing you should have did was download the WNBA app. That's free. That's absolutely free. And then the next step after that, if you want to take it to the next level, League Pass. WNBA has a League Pass. Each team plays 40 games. You download WNBA app, you order League Pass, you sit back with the family, you watch them play. You actually watch. All that stuff's going to be accounted for. So if you really want the game to grow, do that. And that's something I always say too. Something I always say, because I don't watch men's college basketball regularly. I can't do it. The last time I watched men's college basketball with the fervor that a real fan has was when the kids had to stay in school. When the kids had to stay in school, and you could see a team be built, and you got to see a guy go from a high school senior to a junior in college, the game was better then. I watched it then. The only issue was, a lot of those kids were really good, and they wasn't making no money because, of course, there was no NIL back then. So now that we do have NIL, the only thing that can re-interest me in college is if the players make enough money in college to where they can stay in school longer and not just jump ship and go to the NBA. That's the only thing. Like I remember back when the Big East was the Big East, and it was Syracuse and Rutgers and St. John's and Georgetown. Bro, that was the golden era of college basketball for me. That's the basketball that I grew up on. And it's just so hard to invest my time into a program and watch a team, and then the very next year it's a totally different team. It's just you know what I'm saying? It don't hit the same for me. And speaking of men's college basketball, and speaking of local in South Carolina, big shout out to Cam Scott. Cam Scott, senior out of Lexington. I saw him play. One and done players, it's definitely, bro. One and done players really hurt the college game, really did. But I got a chance to see Cam Scott. I heard the hype. The hype was there. Yo, Cam Scott, kid tough, so Blasey to the third, and he played here 4 years, and I never got a chance to see him play, and that's on me until the state championship. The state championship was here in Florence, South Carolina, this past season, and I saw Lexington play. And bro, Cam Scott is it. Cam Scott is a dog, bro. He's really like that. He really is. He went crazy. And the game started off slow, and he didn't get off to like a fast start. But bro, by the end of the game, you could tell he was playing at a different speed and was prepared in a different way than them other kids. I'm talking about in the fourth quarter, he's windmilling. You feel me? Still fresh legs, shooting long distance threes. Like, bro, Cam Scott is really that deal. And he decommitted from Texas a couple of days ago. And when I saw the decommit, when I saw the letter on Instagram that he decommitted, I knew, bro, he going to South Carolina. So that's cool, man. We get another guy, homegrown talent, decide to stay home, so we have the opportunity to see him. So, bro, look at this. Look who's staying home so we can watch, okay? Look who's staying home so we can watch. You got Lenora Sellers. Stop playing. You got Lenora Sellers staying home, Gamecock, South Carolina, so we can watch him play. You got Cam Scott staying home so we can watch him play. You got Malaysia Fulwally. She stayed home, so now we can easily watch her play. And this is just a really great time for South Carolina sports, both high school and college. Really great time. Which leads me to my next talking point. And nobody agree. I haven't found one person yet that agrees with me about this. And maybe is that me? Am I just a person that's hard to agree with? Because I haven't found anybody else that agrees with me that South Carolina can house a professional sports team. I really feel like we can. I feel like we can house, at the very least, a WNBA team. I think we could. We kind of already do. We kind of already got a home team, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because I've been to a few Panthers games, And when the Panthers announcers are speaking and kicking it and talking, they're talking about the Carolinas. They're not the North Carolina Panthers or the South Carolina Panthers. They're the Carolina Panthers. So we kind of already have like our foot in the door of being able to support a professional franchise, because there's a lot of Panther fans in South Carolina. Just a shit ton of Panther fans in South Carolina. And you see him at the games. My wife and I, she took me to a game a couple years back. Was it for my birthday? That was my birthday. We went to the Panthers and Giants game after Deion passed away. That was my birthday. And bro, there was a lot of people that we knew. There was a lot of South Carolinians there. So I think we can house a team, man. I'm thinking like Greenville or Columbia, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, maybe. I don't know about Charleston, but possibly, yeah. But Greenville, Columbia, even Florence, man. Even Florence. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I really hope I live to see. So a lot of great things happening in sports right now. So new gear alert, bro. I cannot wait for basketball season to get back cracking, because my go-to lens for indoor sports, and it's been my go-to lens because it was all what I could afford. You know what I'm saying? My go-to lens for sports has been the Canon RF 24-105. Love that lens, workhorse lens, and it does really good in the studio. The only issue that I had with the lens was in dimly lit arenas, I couldn't stop down to that 2.8 the way I like. You see what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's a f4 lens, and then Canon comes out with the 24-105 f2.8. Oh my God, bro! And this lens is fucking nuts. It's huge. I ain't gonna lie, no diddy. It's a big lens, right? And it's kind of weird to get used to, because if a lens this big is usually the white joint. It's usually the 70-200, and this being a 24-105, but holding it in the hand, it makes you feel like you're shooting with a 70-200, but you're not as close as you think you should be. It's just a weird. I know it's gonna take some time for me to really get used to it, but I plan on rigging this lens up on my R5C. I plan on rigging this lens up on my R5C and shooting basketball with this. And no matter what stadium I go to, I am going. No matter y'all loud ass. No matter what stadium I go to, what indoor stadium I go to, I know I'm gonna be able to get the shots that I want, because I can stop this thing all the way down to 2.8. And that's if all my photographers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's cool. That's something that I've been working hard and trying to make those things happen. And furthermore, one of the best things about that lens is the camera that I shoot on. The camera that I shoot on is the Canon R5C, and that camera is the perfect hybrid camera for me, because not only is it a great photo camera, it's an R5 pretty much. It's a great photo camera, but it also has a cinema operating system. It does take a moment when you switch off of the photo and move into the video mode. It does take a moment for it to load, but what this is basically like a baby C70 is what the cinema operating system is on the Canon R5C. And in that camera, I get different crop modes. I have different shooting modes, and of course it's an 8K sensor. So if I'm cropping off of an 8K sensor, my crops aren't bad at all. If I'm shooting full frame, I get 8K up to 60 frames per second. I ain't shooting 8K, so what? So if I crop into a Super 35 sensor and turn that into an APS-C style camera, then I'm getting I think it's like a 1.6 times crop at 35 at Super 35. So what that does is that it sections off a part of the sensor and crops it so I get even more reach. And that turns like my 7200 into like a 100 to almost 300, right? And also I get another crop option out to Super 16. So that turns, my 7200 into a, 135 to 340 or something like that, right? So I'm all the way out there. I'm all the way out there. The one drawback to the camera, of course, is the battery life, but I do have a V-mount battery that I can, rig it up to it, and that'll make everything shake. But what I also understand with the 24 to 105 2.8 is, bro, that is a 7200. If I'm cropped in to 16 to if I'm cropped in to Super 16, that's a 7200. So now I do have a physical 7200, and I'm gonna move that. That was almost a $3,000 lens. I'm getting rid of that. I'm gonna sell that. So, Canon, shout out to Canon. Better than Sony, better than Nikon. No shade, no shade. But shout out to Canon, because this is the only manufacturer. This is the only camera manufacturer that makes a 24 to 105 lens that is 2.8 through and through. The only one. Now I do believe that it's either Sigma or Tamron. They make like a 35 to 150, I think. I think they make a 35 to 150, but a 24 millimeter and 35 millimeter is a huge difference. Like that, bro, that lens 24 to 105, bro, you could shoot the whole wedding with just that lens, and that's all you would need. You feel me? It replaces all of those primes, right? 24, you can get the whole wedding party. 105, you can stand back and just snipe. Get the bride coming down the aisle from, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be crazy. And I got a wedding coming up. I got one September 14th. I cannot wait to use that lens at that wedding. I've also got one October. That's a video session. No, that's gonna be, yeah, shout out to them. That's gonna be at a very beautiful venue downtown. Victor's, they just acquired, what's that building downtown that Victor's just bought? Justin having his thing there, his bridal shower there. What is it called? The Waters Building. Victor's bought the Waters Building, and so I'm shooting a wedding down there. So yeah, and now I really want to get more into interviews, local celebrity guest spotlights. So if people consider you, and you know what it is, because people consider me, I'm a local celebrity. You feel me? And if you consider yourself, if you know that people consider you a local celebrity, and you want to sit down with me and talk, and I interview you, and we introduce you even that much more to the community, let people know who you are, what you do, how to connect with you, how to do whatever you need to get done, hit me up, bro. Send me a message. And we sit down, and we'll do an interview and kind of introduce you or reintroduce you to the city, man, because this is a really dope spot. Bro, I love it here. Like I said, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. Lived there pretty much all my life, and moved here in 2007. And I met a girl, so you know how that goes. In 2011, and I've been here ever since. So, and I love the Florence community, bro. I ain't lying. These are some of the best people that I've ever met. Being here, there's just a underlying goodness that just falls over the whole city, and I really have been blessed and embraced by so many people in the Florence community. So I definitely appreciate you all for that. So yeah, man, local celebrity spotlights. I'm gonna be doing those. So let me know if you ever want to come in and sit down. It don't matter what you are, what you do, it don't matter. Let's just talk. Let's just kick it. So, what was the last thing I want to talk about? What y'all think? Nachos or tacos? Nachos. I guess nachos. No, I want taco. Okay, then I want nachos. Which one? Come on now. Now you playing with me. Soft tacos fine.
You want soft taco or nachos?
Soft tacos. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, man. And what, bro? TikTok ain't real. Okay. Facebook is who I am. Facebook is who I really am. Instagram is what I do. It shows you what I do. And TikTok is just a place where I just blur out my wild thoughts. So if you follow me on TikTok, do not take it too serious. Do not take it too literal. Please. It's a parting shot that I wanted to send out. But I think I'm live on YouTube too. Am I? I am. Well, thank y'all for joining my live, man. I want y'all to have a blessed and fruitful week. I'll be at the shop, yo, and I got my first student. Y'all better watch out. He's coming. I got my bro. Y'all know last year, I got my instructor's license. Something I've been talking about for a very long time, and I got my first student, man. And this is a cat. This is a cat that's already raw, but already can cut, already got it. And so it's gonna be my job. My duty is to get him to a point to where he's making the money he wants, and he can pass the state board exam to get his barber license. And I'm excited about that, man. We did our last interview with the state board, the barber examiners. We did our last interview early in the week. I think Monday we did that. They should be sending out that work permit, and we'll be able to get started and get in the shop, man. And I'm very excited for this young brother, man. This is a cat that was a really good basketball player, a really even better football player. And it was a lot of us were of the belief that he, could definitely play at the next level, man. But he weighed his options. He looked at all of his options he had. And, one thing I love about that story, man, is so many people think that when God touches you to do something, you think that that's all he touches you to do. You know what I'm saying? When the whole time, if God touches you to be great, it's not just in one thing. Like, that's the gift he gives you. He gives you the gift of greatness, but it's your job to figure out, how to exemplify that, how to magnify that, and what arena to take that in. And he gave it to him, football, gave it to him in basketball. And you look at him, he's just this fantastic young barber. But that's what it is. Same thing happened to me. That's why I love that story so much, because it's very reminiscent of mine. Because I had never touched a clipper until I was 38 years old. Never touched a clipper. And look at me. One of the best. One of the best. So like I said, man, thank you all for joining the live. I'll be doing this more frequently. I know I will. I'll be doing this more frequently. So y'all have a good one, man. Stay up. And I'm out.